Probably the most common question that I get is about linebacker reads, and we're going to talk about linebacker reads today, and specifically whether or not you should be changing those reads from week to week. So I spend a lot of time talking about linebacker reads. We get the questions all the time about what do you read, how should you read, what are the best reads for linebacker reads. It's always the most common thing searched on the website. I've got two podcasts that are solely dedicated to linebacker reads as a whole. If you go to joedanielfootball.com/198, football coaching podcast episode 198, link is in the description below, we'll detail linebacker reads. And I'd actually done one, I'd forgotten about 6 months before that. So football coaching podcast episode 169 is also on linebacker reads. And I've probably done several more. I know I've done some quick clinics on linebacker reads from specific fronts, but those will be linked in the description below. And, you know, obviously within all of our defensive systems, 4-2-5, 3-4, 33 stack, 4-3 defense, we spend a lot of time on linebacker reads. I think that whatever you decide to do, the key in this video today, whatever you decide to do, whenever you decide to read, there's not a right way and a single right way. But what I do have some concerns about is the idea of changing from week to week based on what you're seeing. And I think that's what I want to address in this video today. Our keys that we teach in the 4-2-5 defense system, that in the 4-2-5 defense that we teach our linebackers right now, is very simple. And I want everything to be simple. Coach simple, play fast, win. Okay. Our linebackers are keying the guard. If the guard pulls, you follow him. So if the guard pulls inside, you fill the first open door that you see past the A gap. If the guard doesn't pull, you fill. Very simple. Very simple. Follow him or fill. We're not robots. We don't go fill A gap, fill B gap. I used to do all that. I used to teach all that. You know, fill, you've got cut back B gap, all these things that he had to think about. And it was just too much. He could recite that to me and tell me, but on the field, I just never felt like we had the time to actually make that happen. And so what I want is reads that are automatic, that are very fast. And all that linebacker reads do is get you going in the right direction. So linebacker reads aren't going to take you to the tackle. In other words, they are not, it's not a fishing reel where they're going to throw it out there and they're just going to bring you right into the running back. Like, that's not how a running back or a guard read or anything works. They don't just reel you into the tackle. That's not what linebackers get. What linebackers get is an indicator. The play is going this way. The play is going inside or outside. The play is a pass or is a run. They're getting indicators of what is happening, and it's basically going to give them the first two steps to get where they're going. And so what I look at when looking at linebacker reads is what is going to get us going in the right direction most of the time, okay, 80% of the time. And so we take, it's not exactly Pareto principle, but close enough. The idea is we're going to do 20% of the teaching to get 80% of the results. So we're not going to teach if he does this, if he does this, if he does this, if he does this. We took 10 reads and reduced them down to 2, but it's the 2 that are getting us 80% of the time going the right direction. And so you say, well, if all you're reading is the guard goes this way or the guard pulls or doesn't pull, where does pass come in? Well, pass comes in once they've mastered pulls or doesn't pull. But even before that, if I get 2 steps off my guard didn't pull, let's say that it's just a slide protection play action. I get 2 steps off guard didn't pull, and then my eyes have to go find the football. At some point, no matter what you do, you've got to pick up the backfield. Again, we can't be robots and say he stepped here, boom, I fill. Okay? So at some point, my eyes get in the backfield, and I look, and I see quarterback throwing the ball. Well, everybody knows what a quarterback looks like throwing the ball. After you've played football for about a half hour, you can figure out this is pass, right? This is here we go, pass. All right, it doesn't take that long to figure it out, and then we're just getting it to get back. But my linebackers have got to be run heavy players, very, very heavy run players. What you decide to do is up to you, and again, I think that with 2 high coverages, you can key the backfield because you've got that extra safety back there to clean things up if you make a bad read on a misdirection. To whereas with 1 high coverages, I want to read the linemen because they're more trustworthy and I don't have as much support back there. I got 1 alley player instead of 2. So that's kind of what we're looking at on our decision. But then I used to do all of this stuff, and there's articles on it on the website and podcasts and all sorts of things. For example, split back gun, zone read. We would read who comes in front and who goes behind. We talked about this on a recent JDFB Chalk Talk episode. And our JDFB Chalk Talks are private Q&A sessions for JDFB Insider clients every Tuesday night during the season. We talked about this read, and it is a great read. However, if you're playing a split back zone read option team. However, my concern was I cannot teach this read to these guys in 3 days and get them to master it. And I just don't have the time. On Mondays, we look at it on film, but on Mondays, we're dedicated to special teams. That means we're working Tuesday, Wednesday, and then by Thursday, it's got to be fixed. So really, it's being taught on Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't think that's enough time for this to become, Pavlovian, to become automatic for him, to become something that he just goes when he sees this guy in front and this guy behind. Or, hey, this week the guard's a great read. Next week the center's a great read. The next week the running back's a great read. It's just not possible. So I used to do a lot of changing of the reads. My opinion of it now is I do not want to change the read. I am more willing to change the alignment. I used to not want to change the alignment of the linebackers at all. I wanted them to be in 30s, reading the guards, and that's it. Now I'm okay with adjusting them and moving them, and RPOs have forced our hand in that to an extent, but he still needs to be reading something consistent and something that, again, is going to become, it's the same every time. In a different video I've just done, I talked about safety reads and reading the quarterback because the quarterback is consistent. The backfield in a wing T changes to a zone read, spread option, but the quarterback is consistent. Same thing with the linebackers, with the guards. They either pull or they don't. Sometimes they high hat, and that's why I don't teach that, right off the bat. I teach us to pick up play action later. Whatever your guard reads are, if they're working for you, don't change them. If you change them every week and your guys are picking up on it, that's great. I think that you should continue doing that. My experience has been that when we constantly change those reads, we basically wind up reading nothing or just looking in the backfield where we're very, very susceptible to misdirection. And so I want us to have a consistent read that doesn't change and is simple for our players so that they can play fast so that we can win football games. If you want to learn more about the 425 defense system or all of our products that are inside of the JDFB Insider membership, you can just go to joedanielfootball.com, and there's a little yellow button there that says Get Started Now to check out everything that's a part of JDFB Insider, including all of our defensive systems, our pistol power offense system, our weekly Chalk Talks, and the Chalkboard Forum where you can ask me questions anytime. Again, just go to joedanielfootball.com to check that out. Thanks for watching, and remember, coach simple, play fast, win.